It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. We are so happy to be here. Hey, gang, something to celebrate. This is our 700th show. We started back in January of 2011, and here we are, all because of you, because you ask great questions. So to honor that, we're going to do what we've always done, answer your financial questions. We've got Paulie Walnuts on the line from Florida. Paul is really his name. We called him Paulie Walnuts. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Oh, wonderful to be here with the King and Queen.
That's right.
Thank you for having me, Your Royal Highnesses.
Oh, it is such a pleasure. So, Paul, what's going on? How can we help you?
I'm a do-it-yourselfer with respect to financial planning, and I'm 66 years old.
Okay.
And retirement is coming up on me pretty quickly, so I wanted to do some portfolio housekeeping as I transition into retirement.
How quickly is retirement coming up?
Could be a couple of months. I don't think it would go much beyond next spring.
Okay. All right. That's 3 to 6 months, basically.
Yeah, maybe more, maybe less.
Okay.
Once you leave the workforce, there's almost no going back. So I'm a little bit reluctant to bail out, if you will.
All right. Well, let's make sure that you don't have to go back. If you wanted to go back, that would be different. I just interviewed some guy down in Tampa who had to go back to work. That is not a pleasant thing when you're 70 something and you have to go back to work because you're like, whoops, I kind of undersaved for this thing called retirement. So tell us a little bit about what's going on for you. Are you single, married, partnered?
I'm single.
Okay.
No heirs. So that kind of takes a lot of the legacy issues off of the table.
Okay.
I've been a real good saver over the past 15 years or so, always maxing out the 401k contributions and the Roths and stuff like that. In terms of income, I currently make about 115 from salary and bonuses. And last year, the interest and dividends on my taxable accounts were about 20 grand.
So it's like income 115 plus 20 grand of dividends and interest?
Yeah, that was for 2023.
Okay. Did you spend that money or you bank it?
I have a hard time spending money. I'm a frugal, you know what?
You know what? We're gonna help you a little bit. I do think I want you to enjoy yourself. Let's go through what you have accumulated because you said you're a good saver. So
Right.
You have pre-tax money, a 401k or an IRA. What's pre-tax?
Just under 890K.
Okay, that's great. Okay. What about in Roth assets?
About 255K.
A taxable brokerage account.
Putting it all together between the brokerage account, a couple of savings and checking accounts, Treasury Direct Savings bonds and what have you, about 865K.
Yowza. That's a lot of money. Will you be entitled to any pension benefit when you retire?
Yeah, there's a couple of accounts in that that I have the opportunity to annuitize and one that I must annuitize.
How much has to be annuitized of the 890?
I have a TIAA retirement account of about $95,000.
And it must be annuitized because you're on the TIAA side, not the CREF side?
Yeah, I'm a former employee of TIAA. They funded it. It's their rules. So, if it's free money and it comes with strings, it's free money and it comes with strings. So you just got to play the game.
TIAA 94 has to be annuitized. What else is out there that could be annuitized?
All right. In my present employer, there's something called a cash balance. Cash balance retirement plan where they fund it at separation, or when I retire, I can either take it as a lump sum and roll it into my other, IRAs and what have you, or I can take that as an annuity. And checking the figures that they provide, if I annuitize, I'm looking at about a 9% payout, which is
my God.
Yeah. That was my reaction.
Oh, I love that.
The one interesting aspect to this particular plan is I'm allowed to do a one-time roll into that cash balance plan from my 401k, if I wanted to annuitize more dollars. And that's
Hold on a second. How much would that be as like the rest of the 401k?
Oh, I don't think I'd do all of it.
Okay.
But what I have to work with is let's see, in that account, have about $487,000 that I can either roll in all or part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But candidly, once I retire, I want to consolidate my accounts into just a Vanguard, just to make it easier to manage.
Before we get into like those quick questions there, what do you feel is the spending need for you going forward in retirement? Like, I know you're not spending a lot of money. I get it. But if you think about, I want to have a good life. I'm 66. I'll try to spend some more money. I've got a bunch of money already. That's like $2 million, right? Like, what do you think you would like to be able to spend?
That's one of the challenges that I'm going to have is to, just to make that crossover from saver to spender. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who's ever told you that.
Yeah, sure.
But looking at what my take home was, with those large 401k contributions and what have you, and what's ever left over kind of gets accumulated into the brokerage account. I'm only spending like about 50 grand a year. And the other thing is I just recently moved to Florida.
Okay.
So I'm getting used to the new cost of living here. So I don't have a real solid handle on it. It's a little bit more expensive than where I came from.
Okay. But let's say it's, even if you were saying it's 60 grand a year, let's say it's 60 grand a year,
right,
after tax, right? So let's use that $5 grand a month. I think that's kind of like a safe-ish thing, because you're not going to go to spend like 100 grand if you're only spending 50. You know what I mean? Like that's an unrealistic expectation. But 60, maybe you're going to have a good time and that's going to be fun. And
the envelope was, all right, maybe I'll do 75K, and even with that, that's going to be like,
it'll be hard for you.
Yeah.
I understand. Do you own a home?
Yeah, I just bought a home here back in March. So the value of the home is about $300K, and I have a mortgage of $150K at 4.5%.
Oh, you snuck in, didn't you?
Well, the builder bought down the rate.
That's great. And that's 4.5% forever, or he built the builder for a couple of years?
30-year fixed at 4.5%.
Wow, great deal. Great. Okay. And that 60 or 75 grand a year, that you are including your mortgage in that, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Everything.
Okay. So if you were to annuitize the TIAA right now, what's the amount that would be annuitized? Like the monthly amount, do you think?
That's what I got to do more research on, because their website is a little bit challenging. I'll be kind and put it that way.
Okay.
And the more I look into it, it might not necessarily have to be annuitized as income. I might be able to transfer that into an IRA.
Okay, because what I had understood about TIAA in the annuity side is that they will allow you to annuitize straight up, and
Correct.
They also will allow you to put 10% a year into the CREF side. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I got to do more homework there, but they have something called a transfer payout annuity.
Yeah.
Where it's 10 payments over 9 years. You get a payment on day one, and then for the next 9 anniversaries, you get another payment.
So I'm not even saying you should. I'm just saying that's a possibility. We'll get back to Paul in just a minute. If you would like to contact us, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, 700th show, gang. We're celebrating. Let's get back to Paul, who's on the line from Florida. Social Security. Are you going to wait till 70, I presume?
Like I said before, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, and I kind of go back and forth on that one because in the brokerage account, I do have some unrealized capital gains of about 240 grand. Mm-hmm. Of that 240 grand, about 40 grand is in precious metal ETFs, so that gain would be taxed as ordinary income. My base case when I wrote you guys was I was going to claim at full retirement age, which would be starting in January of 2025.
No, claim at 70 and take the gains when you're making no money for the next 3 years.
Yeah, that's the other part that I was going back and forth.
Definitely.
Like, hey, Paul, I don't need it. You know, I said to myself, hey, I don't need it. I got plenty of cash in the brokerage account.
Yeah.
Play with the Roth conversions to fill up the lower tax
even
bracket.
not necessarily. I'm not saying you should like do that, but I think that you can. So between 67 and 70, I think you take any sort of big gains that you have like that is income to you. Okay. And then what you could do is you could just start taking some money out. You can do a Roth conversion. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that you may not have to, because if you get this money, if you start the clock, let's just say that you take the money from TIAA. Okay. And when do you have to start annuitizing that?
That would be at the required minimum distribution age. That would be age 73.
I'm wondering if we should try to get that out sooner, because, you know, you could start taking that out sooner than later, get the money out, and then use the lump sum buy-in with that 9% delicious payout and start that so that it coincides with your RMDs and let that satisfy your RMDs.
I'm not quite sure I followed you, because my initial thought was, just roll in, like about a grand total of about 200 grand into that 9% payout.
But do you have to start the clock on that 9% payout today, or can you delay it? That's what I'm asking.
I think I have 150 days to roll in the funds. But once you start, it's either like, hey, are you going to let it ride and it accumulates at the 10-year Treasury or 3%, whichever is greater. You know, so it's like letting it ride. That's the 45 grand current balance.
Right.
But once I throw that switch, that's when the monthly checks would start.
Okay, I got you. Okay. I was sort of hoping that we could delay the monthly checks until RMD, but you can't. That's what I was sort of hoping.
Well, yeah,
for.
I could. It's just that
you won't get that 9% though. Like we'll have to aren't we at the whims of the marketplace at that point?
Exactly, because I looked at that a couple of years ago when the 10-year Treasury was in the 2s and the payouts were like in the 6s.
No, this is the time to do it. So this is the time to do it for sure.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah,
and in fact, I mean, you don't have to I don't know. You said that there's 487,000. The only downside of this is you don't have the money, right?
Correct.
Okay. So maybe what we would do is we would take 250, put it in there, find out what the actual dollar amount is that you would receive on a monthly basis. And then what you might want to do is, I don't know, when we figure out the monthly amount, maybe you'll make a decision to yes or no annuitize TIAA. Maybe it's yes. And those are your two basic streams of income for the next 3.5 years, right? Till you get to age 70. Then you claim Social Security, right? And what you would probably do, I mean, you don't have to, because we're going to take a big chunk of this money from your pre-tax, right? The 250 that goes in. So we would have 350 of your 890 that is tied up, creating income, and you're getting out of there. And then you could start to slowly convert, but you're in. Just look at this right now. It's a great time to do it, by the way, when you're in Florida. Right now, you're in the highest bracket is 24%. You're probably not going to go below that, man. I don't see you making less than 100 grand. I don't know. Like when all the dollars start coming in and dividends and interest, like what you would do is you would convert up to the top of the 24% bracket, which for right now for a single is 191, just under 192,000. So then you would slowly convert, but not much more than that. I wouldn't do it all at once. And when you're converting in the next few years, that would suggest that the money that's in savings, checking, and brokerage, some of that has to actually stay pretty boring in terms of your asset allocation. So I know that's what you called.
It already is boring.
So let's talk about that.
The asset allocation in the brokerage account?
Yes.
In the taxable sleeve.
Yes, let's look at that one.
All right. Cash of $271K.
Okay. Is there anything I need that cash for real?
Not really.
No car, no nothing, right?
No.
Okay.
My car's in good shape.
Okay.
I got ultra short-term bonds of just under 200K. So between the cash and the short-term bonds, I'm looking at about 469.
That's a lot.
Is that sufficiently boring?
Yeah, that is. What else?
Equities are about 339, 340.
Okay.
And then I got the precious metal ETFs that are about 58K, and those have had a big run up.
Yeah, I would take my money off the table with those for sure.
Yeah,
as soon as you stop. As soon as you stop.
What I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking, doing that, next year.
Yeah.
I'm totally in Florida next year.
How would you feel? I want to ask you a real question. I know that you like cash. It makes you feel good. Okay.
I like it better when it's paying 4 or 5%.
Right. So it's going to start to not.
Right.
And so how would you feel about rolling some of the ultra short into intermediate term bond fund?
That thought has crossed my mind quite a bit. So
I think for someone who's risk averse, which you are, and you have plenty of money and you're not going to run out of money and you're going to be great. You're going to have an amazing retirement. Okay.
I don't think I'm risk averse. I think, because if I look at everything, I'm risk averse in the taxable, but when I look at the other ones, one of the things that I really look at is what's my equity allocation across the various sleeves. This is something that I kind of look at on a regular basis, just to kind of parse out my accounts, break it into the asset classes. I'm looking at the Roth. I'm at 62% equities. I'm looking at my I also have an HSA I didn't tell you about. That's about 43.
But wait a second. Give me do you have the whole allocation for all accounts?
Equities were 48%.
Okay.
Cash was 22%.
Yeah.
Bonds were 18.3%.
Yep.
Precious metals 2.8%.
Yep.
And the stable value was 8.9%.
You're still overly allocated to cash at this moment. And the bond position, I think you just need to I don't have a problem with having, some money in your taxable account that's available, because you're going to need some of this cash when you do your conversions, right? We're going to need to actually pay some taxes, right? And I think the only change that I would suggest right now is from that ultra short to go into an intermediate term, because
get a little bit more coupon.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you don't have a state income tax in Florida, so you don't have to worry about that. So, I think rock and roll. You're in a great situation. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to let you go. But what I want you to do is find out two things for me, okay? Number one, I want to know, what will your TIAA payment be if you annuitize? And then the number two is, if you were going to retire tomorrow and we took $250,000 from your cash balance retirement and did the buy-in, I want to know what that amount is going to be. Okay. So 250 roll in, TIAA. I want those two numbers, and then I want your Social Security at age 70.
Social Security at age 70 is, where did I put it? It's about 49 grand a year.
Okay. I'm done. So give me those other two numbers, and I'm pretty sure that's what I want to do. I want to annuitize TIAA. I want to get that lump sum annuitized, and then you can start slowly converting the rest of the pre-tax into a Roth slowly. You don't have to do it all at once. It's going to be fine. You're in great shape. If you need some help with a financial decision, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. Next up, it's Pat from Delaware. What's going on for you?
So my question was, we are having a kitchen remodel done. And I'm trying to decide, with interest rates what they are currently, if it's smarter to, so I'll say I'm 61 and my husband's the same age. So I'll start with that because I know that's important. But I'm wondering if it's okay to borrow the money from my 403B and pay myself back with interest-free, basically, or to take a loan at the lowest rate I can find currently is 5.99%.
5.99%, is that a home equity line of credit or a loan, a personal loan? What is that 5.99%?
It's a home equity loan.
Home equity loan. And how much would you have to borrow to get this done?
There is a minimum of $5,000.
That's it?
That's it.
Well, let's say 10,000.
Okay.
Okay.
No, what's the remodel going to cost?
It's going to cost $50 total. I wanted to borrow $35.
What was the $5,000? I don't understand. What did you just tell me $5,000 was?
Oh, well, that was the minimum for the loan. Like
no. I'm saying the minimum amount that, like, what is the amount of money you need? You need $50,000.
Oh, I need 35.
You need 35. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the number that we need. Do
Correct.
you have money that's in the bank right now?
I do.
How much?
About 55,000.
And both you and your husband are still working, right? Because you're at a 403B. Correct. How much do you guys earn?
About 155,000.
Okay, great. And you got 55 in the bank. You have a 403B. How much is in the 403B right now?
Both of us almost about the same, about 125,000 each.
And are you guys entitled to a pension down the line?
I currently receive a pension from when I worked for a municipal government, and I started collecting at age 55. I get about $1,100 a month.
Did you include that in your 155?
No.
Okay, so that's the extra money coming in, that $1,100 a month, right?
Correct.
I got you. And 125 each in your 403Bs.
Yes.
Are your retirement accounts. Any other money that you have invested right now?
Just a small amount, 15,000 in a water stock.
In a what stock?
Water.
Do you have a big gain on that stock?
Over the years, yes. Lately, no. It's been lower. We've had it for a very long time.
I know. I want to sell it. I'm about to sell it. Sorry. I hope you're not I hope you're not emotionally attached to it.
I'm not.
How much is the house worth right now?
It's probably, I will low ballpark it at 500,000.
And you have a mortgage that's outstanding still?
Of 22,000.
That's it?
That's all.
Oh my gosh. What's the interest rate on that?
2.75%.
Okay. So we're not paying that down.
No.
Ah, boy, this is interesting. Okay. So right now, what do you do with the $1,100 a month that comes in from the defined benefit plan?
It gets just put in the bank, and that 55,000 that I have in there, 50 of it is in CDs.
Oh, okay. Do you have an idea about how much you guys spend every year or every month?
No.
I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. Just track that. I mean, you have no other debt besides this mortgage, right?
No, I mean, we have a credit card, but I try and pay that off every month.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything outstanding right now on the credit card?
1,100.
That's it. Okay.
That's all.
How about car loans?
We do have car loans. I have one that has a balance of 9,000. Mm-hmm. And my husband's is probably the same, about 10,000 maybe.
Do you know the interest rates on those car loans?
His is 0.
Oh, I love that one. That's
mine
a good one.
Is 1.99.
Okay, we don't have to pay those off. Good.
Yeah.
So we do have to. So can you just do me a favor?
Yeah.
When we get off of this conversation, just pay off that credit card right now because you have money in the bank. Pay off that $1,100.
Okay.
All right, just get that done. I don't want any more credit card debt. Okay.
Got it.
So your idea here is to use 25 that you have in the bank, right? And then borrow 35, and then you pay for your, or whatever, so 25. What do you think?
Well, so I've already sent checks for 15 grand.
Oh, okay. So of the 50 grand in other words, you're saying to me, of the 50 grand that is the renovation, you've already spent 15.
Correct.
Okay.
And used cash.
Okay. And the 35 is just what's left.
Correct.
Okay. So here's what I think you can do. I mean, this is like a little bit dangerous. So I'm going to give you two different options.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I would do the home equity loan. I mean, the reason why the 403B loan is nice is that it's not that it's zero interest, because there's a cost to this loan in that the money that you borrow is not invested. So it's outside of so they kind of segregate that money until you pay it off. The nice part about a 403B loan or any retirement plan loan is that you pay yourself back. Okay.
Right.
And you're going to work for as long as necessary to pay off that loan, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that's one. So I kind of like that. It's a very facile way to get a loan done. However, I want to sell this water stock like ASAP. So what you're going to have to do, if we sell that stock and it's worth 15 grand, you're going to have like some sort of weird estimate. Like, did you inherit this or did you buy it?
No, we bought it.
What year did you buy it?
Probably around 94, 95.
Okay, in 1994, 1995. And did you buy directly through the company? Is it
Correct.
Okay. So they have a record probably. And what you're going to find out for them is, what is my cost basis? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is the price that I actually paid for the stock? Right. Plus any dividends that were reinvested. Because a lot of times when people buy stocks like this, they do it through a dividend reinvestment plan or a DRIP. So
yeah, that's what this is.
Okay. So what you want to find out is, what is the amount of money I spent on the stock plus all of the dividends that have been reinvested? We'll get back to Pat in just a moment. If you've got a question, go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make solid, less bad, maybe even good financial decisions. If you've got a question, go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. Let's get back to Pat from Delaware. I'm going to give you a kind of a rough way this works. Presumably, let's say you bought it for $5,000. It grew, plus there was dividend reinvestment, so you kept buying little fractional shares of it. So that even if it says $15,000, it's not as if you would, take 15,000 minus the 5,000 you paid is a $10,000 gain. It might be more like the actual cost basis, because you kept buying these little fractional shares, goes up a tiny bit. So maybe instead of a $5,000 cost basis, it's a $7,000 cost basis. Okay. We want the number to go up. That's the good news. Now, let's say then this is now called a long-term capital gain. So now let's say your cost basis is 7. It's worth 15. You sell the stock, that means you have an $8,000 gain. Right. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, on your total $155,000 of income, you're putting money into retirement still, right? You're putting money away, and it's pre-tax, right?
Correct.
Okay. So in that case, the amount of the tax that would be due on that gain of $8,000 is probably only going to be 15%, 1-5.
Okay.
That doesn't seem like a big price to pay based on that. Like, you've had this stock. It's not like it's some great performer. I wouldn't say that you need to have this individual stock. It's, you bought it. It made some money. It's kind of stagnant now. So big deal, right? So if you think about it this way, you say, okay, well, let's say I have to pay $1,200 in capital gains. Maybe it's $1,500 when you get done with paying any state tax or anything. So then you say to yourself, well, wait a minute. Out of the $15,000, I'll pay some tax, $1,500, $2,000. I'll have $13,000 net to you guys. Right. Now, instead of borrowing $35,000, I can borrow $35,000 minus $13,000, like the money you would have of the proceeds from selling the water stock.
Right.
Now you only have to borrow $22,000. That's it.
Yeah.
And, to some extent,
Would you borrow? I mean, I don't know what their real monthly nut is, but would you borrow or would you take it out of the cash?
Well, so here's your choice. So then we have to come up with 22 grand. Mm-hmm. The question is how comfortable you feel with spending down 22,000 of the 55 in the bank.
Not comfortable.
Not at all.
No.
I know, because you like having the access to the money.
I grew up in a single parent household and it's just been always a fear of mine. So I'm not comfortable spending any more of the
Okay.
cash.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to, number one, pay off the credit card debt immediately from the money in the bank. Because I don't want you paying that. Okay. You're going to nice and easy, pay off your car loan, pay off the 2 car loans, don't accelerate it. They're really cheap. You're not going to pay extra on your mortgage. Right. How many years is that mortgage good for? How much longer?
So the car loans will be paid off in 2026. The mortgage will be 2027.
Okay, great. And so what happens then is that your cash flow is going to look great. And over the next couple of years, right? And you're going to just keep banking money as much as you can. Keep putting money into your 403B because you're going to pay this loan off. Right. And then you're going to be good. But I want you to do one other thing for me after this project is done.
Sure.
I would love for you guys to just track how much money you're spending on a monthly basis. It does not have to be an exact science. Honestly, Pat, I just want you to get a sense of, you know what, of that 155, you know what we really spend every single month? We spend $90,000 or whatever it is. I just want to get a sense of it because we do want you guys to retire eventually, right?
Yes.
That would be a nice thing. How much longer do you think you'll work?
I think I'll work. So I probably will work till I'm 67, if not. So at least 6 more years.
Okay, then we're going to be good. You're going to pay off this loan. It's going to be no problem. That $1,100 a month, keep building up your bank account. That's a beautiful thing. And then your husband also, he'll keep working. You keep squirrel away your money. And, if you have a sense of how much money you're really spending on a monthly basis, what I think it does, it'll give you some control. I just interviewed somebody who said, they were really kind of up a creek without a paddle on their finances. And this woman said to me, it was not until I actually really focused on the numbers, which always scared her, did she start to have any semblance of control. Because she was like, well, then I knew what I was dealing with.
Right.
For you, I don't want you to retire until you really know, what are these numbers? Do I feel comfortable? 2 Social Security checks plus my pension. Are we going to be okay? And the answer is probably going to be sure, because if you think about it, in the next few years, no car loans, no mortgage. I don't know if you're the kind of people who keep cars for a while, but you're going to be in great shape.
Yeah.
And for given what you just said, emotionally, you like having a little bit of extra money in the bank, keep building up that account. Keep building it up. And it's going to make you feel better and better.
Okay.
Don't lose your job. If you lose your job, they're going to make you pay off the loan immediately, by the way.
Yeah.
But you're not going to, right?
No.
If you'd like to join us live, it's just a few clicks away. Go to JillOnMoney.com. Check out all the content that lives there. Bookmark the site. But always know that Contact Us button in the upper right-hand corner. Fill it out. And don't forget to let us know if you'd like to come on live. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that tries to help you balance all the competing forces in your life. And there are a lot of them. And we just want to help you do that without blowing through all your money. So if you're thinking about an early retirement, if you're thinking about sending your kid to public versus private school, if you're thinking about an upsize or a downsize, it doesn't matter. Get in touch with us. Go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. All right, so here's a note from Dottie, who says she's 74 and she has $3 million. She wants to know how she can pass this money to her 2 sons and avoid having a nursing home get the money. Well, first of all, stay healthy. I guess that's number one. The second thing to remember is that a lot of the techniques and the tactics that elder care advisors and lawyers that they'll provide you, they may be able to shelter your money in perfectly legal ways, but they also may mean that the money that you have becomes locked up. So sometimes they'll tell you, well, you'll put your house in an irrevocable trust, or you'll make these moves, or you'll do this and you do that, but then you have the loss of the control over that asset. So a few things that you might want to keep in mind if this is top of mind for you. If you've run the numbers and you really believe that a big chunk of this money is not going to be necessary to be part of your sort of income flow, then maybe you would consider gifting. You can give $18,000 to anybody, including your sons or maybe any grandchildren, and that might be a way to start whittling away the money. But the other idea is to maybe have a shift of thinking, because maybe the money that you have saved is what we call self-insurance, a way for you to make sure that you can take care of yourself and not rely on your kids if something bad were to happen. I would love to encourage you to come on the air and talk this through with us, because I'd like to drill down on some of the thought process around this. Okay? I hope that helps. I know it's sort of half of an answer, but I really want to talk to you. Okay, if you would like to talk to us, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money show, and it is our 700th show. I cannot even believe it. Mark and I started this show back in January of 2011, and boy, was that a different time for both of us personally and for the world. And we are just so happy that you have stuck with us. If you're new listeners, we're very happy to have you. If you're old listeners, we are grateful that you consistently tune in every weekend for the program. It really means the world to us. If you're new, well, welcome aboard. And if you're just finding us by accident right now, then just know that the point of this program is to help you make better or less bad financial decisions. And we do that by encouraging you to go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. And when you're on the website, there is a Contact Us button. It's in the upper right-hand corner, and you click it. You write your note, and that's an email that we'll receive. And if you'd like to join us live on the air, then you just check the box and we'll do everything else. While you're on the website, be sure to check out all of the content that lives there. We've got a free weekly newsletter. We have a YouTube show. We have just a quick little link to that show. It's called Jill on Money, powered by the Compound. We've got resources. We've got a blog. We have 2 podcasts. We got a lot going on. So check it out. Just bookmark Jill on Money, and I think it'll be easier for you to return anytime. So let's get this hour started with an email. This is from Kay, who's 64 years old. My husband passed away earlier this year. I got a life insurance payout of $200,000. I was able to pay off some debt of about $24,000 and also fund an emergency reserve of $36,000. Okay. So now she goes on to write, I know I shouldn't do anything drastic for a year. That is totally true. So I went to see a financial advisor. I wanted to pay off my mortgage balance, which is $113,000 at 6.5%. Now, the advisor said it would be better not to pay off the mortgage, but to invest it. So she moved the balance of her Fidelity account, which I guess along with this other money was about $120,000. She fully funded a 2023 Roth IRA for last year and this year. That's good. 20 grand into a 6-month CD because she was nervous, and the remaining balance was put into an account invested in ETFs and mutual funds. The advisor charges a 1% fee. I like her, and she listens to what I want and involves me in the decision making. I'm still working full time. I've got a 401k and a Roth 401k. I contribute up to the 5% match for the 401k, 22% to the Roth. Current balance $380,000 or so. I have it managed. They charge a fee as well. I feel like I'm paying a lot of fees between the brokerage firm and my work plan. I make $69,000 before taxes. I currently receive small pensions from my husband's work, $24.52 a month, plus another $250 when I turn 65. That's next year. She ends up making about $27.50 a month for as long as she lives. She's going to work another few years and will take Social Security at age 70, which would be about $2,800. With that amount that I bring home after all taxes deductions, I have a net of around $4,700. My mortgage is $1,643. My monthly expenses are $3,500. My mortgage takes up a good portion of my monthly expenses. If it were paid off, I feel like I could have the option to retire sooner than 67 if needed. Plus, if I didn't have the payment, I would have more to invest and fully fund the 401k and the Roth 401k. Should I take what is now in the brokerage firm to pay off my mortgage, since I know it is probably not earning 6.5% or higher, or use the 20 grand from the CD when it matures and then pay $1,000 extra every month on the principal to pay it down sooner? I cannot retire until my mortgage is paid off. I would at least like to have the option to retire at 65 and beyond. I love my job. I'm going to work as long as I can. I value your opinion and waiting on your response. I think she's got $113,000 left, and it's 6.5%. It's not a small amount, and she's 64 years old. So what I'm hearing in this is emotionally, I've just been through a lot, and I really would like to have that mortgage paid off. We're playing a little bit of balance sheet gymnastics with this, because I think the reason that the advisor did not want you to pay off the mortgage is that not just that maybe she wanted to invest the money, which maybe she did, maybe she didn't, but also there is a point that you don't have a lot of liquidity. You don't have a lot of money that is available to you that is not in a retirement account. Again, you have like almost $400,000 in the retirement account. I guess the question is that the 6-month CD is coming due. Okay. Now just think about the math on this. 5% in a CD versus 6.5% on the mortgage. Okay. That's the easy one. That is the one where I'm like, okay, as soon as that comes due, definitely pay down the mortgage with that. Then what I think I might do is, if you feel like you can talk to your advisor about this and you can say, look, I don't know if we're really going to earn 6.5% net based on the way that I'm investing. And maybe I just would feel more comfortable if I could take a big chunk out of this mortgage. And maybe what you do is you look at the investments that you have, and maybe, towards the end of this year, when you're thinking about rebalancing this account, maybe you look at this, at the ETFs and the mutual funds, and you see if there's some chunk of money that you could use to help pay down the mortgage. So in other words, what I'm thinking is this. Let's just presume that you have $100,000 invested with her, and you have $20,000 in a CD that's coming due. Could you say to her, I want to take, of the money that's invested with you, I want to take $30,000 in a tax efficient way, pull it out, pay down the mortgage, and now you have half as much in the mortgage. And then you could, if you wanted to, make some extra payments on the mortgage, but then it seems like a more reasonable amount. And it does not sound to me like you're going to have a real big problem. Monthly expenses of $3,500, you're going to be fine, and you're going to continue to work. I actually think you probably could retire before age 67 if you wanted to. But all that being said, it seems also that if you love it and you're going to work as long as you can, what I would say is I may not pull all the money out of that account, but maybe take a chunk plus the CD, pay down that mortgage, and I think you'll feel better because of that. I really do.
Also, she's only making $69,000. She's contributing 27% of her pay into retirement accounts. Like release some pressure. You don't have to put so much money in.
Yeah, maybe just put in up to the match even, and then use your extra cash flow, and you can pay down the mortgage and keep having some money added to your safe money. If you have a question, it's just so easy. Go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and write your note. Now, while you're there, I encourage you to check out our service called Jill on Money Live. It's a subscription service. And for $35 for the next 12 months, you'll have access to quarterly live webinars and special video content. And that content is really kind of cool, and it lives behind the paywall, but it's not such a high paywall. It's sort of like a low subscription service because we really just are trying to present different stuff to you all. So check it out, Jill on Money Live. Okay, it's the Jill on Money Show, and we will be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and let's get going pretty quickly here. This is an email from Jerry. Let me just go to the actual fun part. Total assets, $3.3 million. There's a house that's worth $550 with a $300,000 mortgage with 2.75% interest rate. Let's add their total expenses, including the mortgage, are around $7,000 a month. Okay, at Social Security full retirement age for the two of them. I'm trying to see how old they are. I'm not sure where they are. How old are they? At 67, they'll have about $6,300 a month in Social Security. Our biggest concern is health insurance between now and 65. I don't know what now is, but they're not even 59 and a half. I can tell you that because it says we plan to use brokerage accounts and cash as needed for living expenses to keep our AGI low until we turn 59 and a half. Then we'll draw some money from the 401k. Do Roth conversions since we have a healthy brokerage account. They have so much money that I don't even know why he's asking. They have brokerage account money of $1.1 million. You didn't tell us how old you are. What's the question here? The question is, we think we can live comfortably on $9,000 a month, which would include healthcare premiums also, and Medicare and vacations. They make $275. Can you retire in 2025? I wish you would tell me how old you are. It seems like kind of a no-brainer. They've got plenty of money, and I like the idea of, I wouldn't do conversions. Everybody calm down with your conversions. I with all due respect to Ed Slott, just pull money out of your retirement account and pay the tax that's due. That's one way to really reduce your required minimum distributions. But I'm not sure, you don't have to be so focused on a conversion because, when you have this, you got $1.1 million in brokerage account assets. I don't know, I don't know if I want to soak that up. Let's talk about capital gains. This is from Lindsay, who lives in Southern California. House has gone up. Listen to this. House has gone up in value by $1 million since they bought it 5 years ago. Wow. Okay. I know that we don't have to pay capital gains for the first $500,000 of gain. Okay. So then the question is, what does it all mean in terms of what we have to put into a new house? Nothing. It used to be that you had to take some amount of money and you could sort of defray your tax situation by pushing it into a new house. That does not happen anymore. So here's how it goes. You ready? Let's just say they can sell their house for $2.2 million. Okay. And the original price they paid was $1.1 million. All right. So they have $1.1 million in gain. The way it works is, of that 1.1, 500,000 gets lopped off. You have a gain of 600,000. You then have to add in to your cost basis any money you spent on the house that is like a structural improvement. So let's pretend you bought the house for 1.1 million, right? I don't know, maybe you didn't even put that much into it. Let's say that you put in $100,000. It's not even that much, but let's just say, and I'm saying like a brand new kitchen, you added a bathroom, whatever, right? So in that case, it would be as if you would have instead of a $1.1 million gain, you'd have $1 million gain. The point here is that we want to try to raise the cost basis to reflect what you've added into the house. So of the $1 million, you have a capital gains of 500,000. You don't have to put a certain amount in a new house. There's nothing that has to happen. The 500,000 that is excluded is always excluded. You pay the capital gains on whatever the sale of the house is, and your net proceeds can be spent any way you want. You could be a renter for the rest of your life. You don't have anything else that has to happen. Just know that the way the capital gains is calculated is the purchase price plus any structural improvements you've made to the house. That's your cost basis. You sell the house, you now have your adjusted cost basis. There's the gain. From the gain, the first 500,000 for couples is excluded. Okay. Mandy writes, "Hi, Jill. I've been a longtime listener and big fan of your show. My husband and I are doing well financially. He is in his mid-40s. I am in my late 30s. We have 2 kids who are 10 and 7. We've always maxed out our 401k and HSA contributions since we started working. We started 529 plans a couple of years ago when my kids were born. We spent moderately and could keep nearly 40% of our income as savings. Oh my God. Until recently, we've had no issue with money. My husband and his family members have muscular dystrophy. That's not good. People with this condition gradually lose muscle functions, suffer falls, have difficulty sitting, walking, getting up. And we witnessed my father-in-law pass away because of muscular dystrophy 3 years ago. I'm wondering if he might need personal care in roughly 15 years. What kind of long-term care insurance could we buy right now? I don't think you could. If he has this condition or it's in his family, I have a feeling that you would probably not be able to get him long-term care insurance. The other question you asked, is there anything else we can do now to be prepared for later when he could potentially lose mobility and I would need a helping hand to take care of him? I think that you'd want to talk to somebody who actually could walk you through what your options are. There are some annuity products that have a long-term care rider, and this may be the kind of thing that you should be looking into. I also think it would be really helpful for you to have an objective opinion about this, someone who is a fee-only financial planner who can walk you through what options lie ahead and look at the money you have. Maybe you've saved a ton of money and that's enough. But I think there are some of these specialty products that you may want to look into. Okay, this is from Rick, who says, I have a question about where to access funds for my retirement. We are technically not retired, but we are now working in lower paying, more flexible jobs. I am 65. My wife is 63. We live in Maine. We earn about $125,000 a year. Our spending is about $200,000 a year, $175 to $200. Brokerage accounts are yielding about 1.5% or 45 grand in income. So now you see it sort of matches up. To fund the shortfall, I have been selling investments in our brokerage accounts, but we are now at a point where the bulk of the remaining securities are highly appreciated. They've owned a lot of big stocks over the last 15 years, and that would trigger a significant tax liability. They've got 3 grown, fully launched kids and would rather that they one day inherit these securities and get the step up in cost basis. Okay. Now, on the retirement side, they've got $2.1 million. $600,000 is Roth. The remaining $1.5 million pre-tax. Would we be better off starting to draw down the pre-tax accounts versus selling the highly appreciated post-tax securities? Or should we do a mix? They're going to wait till 70 to start their Social Security retirement benefits. And they're going to be working on this issue basically for the next 5 to 7 years. I know that tax rates are lower for capital gains than IRA distributions, but I hear your constant warnings about higher RMDs and potentially higher taxes down the line. I know we're fine overall. It's a good problem to have. I'd appreciate your thoughts. Well, you know what? You are going to have RMDs. And if you want to leave those Roth assets, especially to your kids, or maybe even the brokerage account assets, it's kind of a push. I think I'd start pulling money out of the retirement accounts to fund this and start the process of reducing your future RMDs. What do you think, Mark?
I'm with you. That seems to be our common, it's becoming more and more of a common response for us. Just
I mean, it's not that big a deal to do this, but I really think that it's important to think about this. If you've got a financial question you want to pass by us, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here answering your financial questions as we have done every weekend since January of 2011. If you're just joining us, you should know it is our 700th show. So I'm feeling pretty happy about this, and I'm very excited. So if you have a comment, of course, you can just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. And while you're there, check out all the content that lives there, including the free weekly newsletter, which comes out every single Friday. Mark does a great job compiling that. And there's all sorts of other stuff. So check it out, JillOnMoney.com. Okay, right now, let's get to our listener, Bob, who's on the line from Pennsylvania. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hi, Jill. Very good. Glad to talk to you.
Great to talk to you as well. Tell us what's going on. How can we help you out?
So, Jill, I started my career into my early 30s, wasn't worrying about saving, and they had a pension where I worked. They ended up freezing that over. I married, and my lovely spouse encouraged me to start putting money in a 403B. So, no one ever thinks they're going to get old, but here I am. I'm 1 year from retirement. Yeah.
You sound very, very spry. How old are you?
I'm going to be 64 next month.
Okay. And your wife is how old?
She's 60.
Okay. And is she working still?
She is. She's working too, and she's planning on trying to work till 65 also.
Okay. And how much do you guys make together?
So I am making about 110, and I think she's making about 120-ish a year.
And you've been contributing to your retirement accounts because your wife's so smart. She said, "Get on this, babe. Let's do it." All right.
Exactly. And I maxed out, and I honestly, ridiculously, I was in a high risk thing, but I got about 10% a year, as they say you might. And I just finally this year rebalanced it to be a little bit more conservative because I am just a year away. So I did well with it, like I said, about 10% on average. But all my retirement money really is in a 403B, other than the pension that they froze on us, but I will be getting pension also.
Okay, wait a second. The 403B, how much is in there?
So I actually have two of them, but it's about near 800,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, between the two. Yep.
All right. And the frozen pension, are you going to receive that as a monthly income or a lump sum?
Monthly income.
How much will that be?
$19.34 a month.
1934. I remember it well. Okay. When you look at that 1934, I know that's great. I want to know how much of your expenses this is going to cover. So do you know how much money you guys spend?
I'm going to guesstimate that we're spending approximately $3,000 a month. Yeah, I think so. I'd have to tighten up. Our mortgage is paid off. Our cars are paid off. So we have no loans or anything like that. So it's just the stuff to live on.
Okay. And how much is in your wife's retirement account? Do you know?
She thinks, and it's again mostly 403Bs.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks about also for her about 800,000.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how much is the house worth that you said is paid off?
I think somewhere between 8 and 900,000.
And you're going to stay there?
We're going to try it as long as we can. Yep.
Okay, great. Any money in the bank, safe money like cash on
Yep.
hand? What do you got?
52,000.
Okay. And no other money invested beyond these 403B accounts?
No, she had about 20,000 in stock, and that's it. But almost all her same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all good. You guys have grown kids?
No kids.
No kids. That's why you have all this money.
Yeah, that's it. Our cats are pretty pricey.
I know the animals, they really do take a big bite.
Yeah.
When you retire at age 65,
Mhm.
okay, what is your game plan? Never working again, working part-time, doing something? What do you think?
I was hoping to do, maybe 6 hours, 8 hours a week for a couple of years.
Okay. And, you just make a few $1,000 kind of?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Just
Yep.
to because while she's working, she's got
Yes.
5 more years and she's like, don't be hanging around the house.
You got it. Yep.
I
I
hear
just
ya.
got to make sure I have dinner on the table when she gets home.
Oh, I love that. Are you a good
Yeah.
cook?
I'm learning.
Okay. That's all
Yeah.
right. You're a work in progress.
Everything's better with a glass of wine. So
And isn't that the truth? It's like the world is all of the money in the 403B, is that pre-tax? In other words, it has not been taxed yet?
has not been. Yes.
Okay. So is the general game plan, let's make sure I understand this. So you got the money that's in cash.
Mm-hmm.
You retire in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Is the money in your 403B, are you going to start pulling a little bit of that out every year to start living on until you collect Social Security?
Possibly the few hours I work a week, if I do that, might be enough mad money to prevent me from having to pull some out right away.
Well, I don't know. You could do it anyway. I mean,
Okay.
it's fine. Because what does your Social Security benefit look like at either your age 67 or 70?
It is 2,700 and some change a month.
Okay, at 67.
No, I'm sorry. It's 65. I don't know at 67.
I don't want you to take it at 65.
Okay.
Wait, you got to wait till 67. And it's fine. You have plenty of money to do it. I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
The longer you wait, the better the benefit's going to be. Okay. Let's just pretend it's $3,000 a month at age 67.
Mm-hmm.
For the couple of years that you pull money out of that 403B account, don't worry about it. I mean, honestly, you could you could pull $50,000 out, pay the tax that's due. You're going to have to pull this money out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
In many respects, I would much rather you pull money out now while your income is down a bit. You'll be in the 22% tax bracket. That's fine. And pull the money out that you need, pay the tax that's due. You can live on it. No problem.
Okay.
Then
Cool.
wait until 67 at least to claim your Social Security. I could even make the case probably that you could wait till 70, but let's just say 67 for now.
Okay.
That ends up being that'll end up be $3,000 a month. $3,000 plus your pension, your frozen pension gets you what you need, right? Is that frozen pension have a cost of living adjustment or not?
I'm not sure.
I bet it doesn't, only because it's frozen.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We'll get back to Bob in just a moment. If you have a financial question, just go to our website. It is jillonmoney.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, wherever you're navigating on the website, always in the right-hand corner, the Contact Us button is there. Click that button and you'll write us your note. And if you'd like to join us live, all you need to do is check the box. The best executive producer in the world, Mark Talercia, will do everything else because he just is the best. That's it. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we will be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you navigate those big decisions in your life, because most of the big decisions that you're going to make do have some sort of financial implication. So it could be a housing question, it might be a retirement question, it might be an education question, maybe it's a question about two different jobs, or how to really think about a pension, or when to claim Social Security. All of these things are issues that come up in your life. And Mark and I are both certified financial planners. We'd love to help you out. So just go to our website. It is jillonmoney.com and click the Contact Us button, write us a note. And if you'd like to join us live, then Mark will do everything else. While you're on that website, there's a ton of resources there. I encourage you to check out both of our podcasts, and also please take a look at the resources section. There's a lot of good stuff there. Okay, let's get back to Bob from Pennsylvania. Okay. You guys have plenty of money because your wife's going to keep working. Mm-hmm. She does not have to put money away pre-tax if she doesn't want to. You could just take her money and add it to your cash account just to give you a little more liquidity if you want. It's up to you. Okay. But I like the idea that you kind of pulled back on the risk in your retirement account, because what does it look like now? Like you went from being 100% stocks to what?
I think it's like 20% now.
That's it?
Yeah.
And she's full, and she's full bore, like. Yeah,
she's really riskier yet.
Okay. I mean, I don't see anything bad here. Yeah, I do think remember, the reason why I'm telling you to delay your Social Security, even though it sort of feels like easy money, when you delay it, you have a better benefit, and that benefit goes up with inflation. And that is a cost of living adjusted amount. Okay. So the longer you can wait, the better it can be. So if for some reason, let's just like play this out. You're like, hey, you know what? 5 years, I'm working enough that I don't even I'm not even pulling any money out of my retirement account. If you can wait until you're age 70, the number's going to be even bigger. Wait till you see. It's huge. Okay, and that jump can, unless, are you in good health? I know that's a crazy question to ask. You sound good, but are you generally in good health?
Relatively.
All right. It does work better the longer you wait. So 70 is where you max it out.
Okay.
It sounds like you're in good shape, though.
He's being pitched a product.
Yeah, what are you being pitched?
So I'm being pitched the one 403b that I have like 500 something thousand in there. This guy wants me to take about 275 out of there and put it in it's called a Assured Edge fixed annuity to guarantee me payments for the rest of my life.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I wasn't sure because I have a pension already.
Yeah.
I like not outliving all my money, but I do have a pension. I do have Social Security coming. Yeah. And I work some, but I just wasn't sure. And when I went online to research, and everyone's offering these products, they gave the big sales thing, but I couldn't really. Someone said, it's a very cost. I guess it's a high fee or something.
Yeah. But you don't need it. You don't need it. I'll tell you why you don't need it. You don't need it. First of all, pulling money out of your grasp and creating income is very appealing. But as you just said, and you're so smart to think this way, I have a pension. I'm going to have 2 Social Security checks, right? And even if you were to pass away and your wife would have her Social Security, or yours if it were higher, you don't spend a lot of money. You don't need it. You will have 3 streams of income. And so I would hate to pay some insurance company for that stream of income. You don't need it. Honestly, you could just say, take 20, 30, 40 grand a year out of your 403b and pay the tax that's due. You're going to have to pay it anyway, right? When you're 73, so you're going to have to start taking money out. You don't need a stream of income. You don't spend that much money. Okay. People who need a stream of income are the people who are freaked out about the fact that they spend a lot of money, and they also are fearful that they don't want to manage the money, and they don't trust themselves, and it feels like too much. You have this frozen pension. You're going to have your Social Security. I think you're in very good shape. It's not to say that every single annuity sucks, but most of them do. And more importantly, it solves a problem that you don't have. You will have streams of income. You're fine. You're in good shape.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent to hear. I wanted unbiased information. I'm sitting there. Who can I ask? I'm like, oh my God, I could call Jill on money.
That's right. You could say Aunt Jill is here for me. That's it. I think you're great. Now, do you guys have your estate documents done?
Not yet. We're going to try though. Yeah.
Promise?
Yeah, I really do.
Pinky swear with me, dude. Don't buy an annuity, but get your estate docs done.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I'm finally on board with it. I know it. Retirement's crept up really sneaky on me.
Yeah, you sound like a happy 64-year-old. So congratulations.
I am. Thank you so much.
You've done a good job. So you and your wife. By the way, thank your wife every single day. Thanks, my honey, for making me put some money away.
Oh, I do all the time. Yeah, definitely.
It's funny. If you don't know what you don't know, and it's like not front of mind, you don't realize early on, like, I got to do this. So great for her and great for you guys. So thank you so much for joining us. And don't buy an annuity, but do your estate docs. If you would like to run a scenario by us, it's so easy to do. Please just go to our JillOnMoney.com website, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. Don't forget to check the box if you want to come on the air live. This is the Jill on Money Show, and we'll be right back. You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, the 700th show since we started back in January 2011. We have spent more than 13 years trying to help you make better or less bad financial decisions. And so we're going to keep doing that for as long as you'll have us. Let us conclude this program where it all started, with you. This is a question from Juliet, who writes, I'm receiving numerous requests to contact companies about debt forgiveness, which I probably could use. There used to be only 2 or 3 companies that would do this. Now there must be 12 different companies who have all been calling me. How do I know which one to use and who will give me the best deal? I run a small business and rely on credit sometimes due to the irregularity of my income. Well, Juliet, I think that you may want to use 0 companies. Maybe this is actually something you should be doing yourself, because often these debt consolidation companies, they offer you the world, but they're really offering you services that you could do yourself. And I suggest instead to potentially start to take matters into your own hands. Contact the companies, see what they'll do, see how they might work with you. What offers do they have? And that way, at least you're going to tell your own story and you'll avoid any fees. I hope that helps, but if you need some extra guidance, get back in touch with us and we can walk you through some of the questions to ask and some of the things that you might want to consider. Well, okay, that is it. That is show number 700 in the can. And I am so grateful for all of you for tuning in and for making this such a delightful experience for both me and Mark. Really, it's been tremendous. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. And you hear me talk about Mark Talercio. He is our executive producer. He's also the king of all things web. He is also instrumental in my life and in this program and in everything I do. So special shout out to Mark, who is just beyond executive producer. He is the best. Please try to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.